So, welcome to Technoscope again. This is Amit Kumar Pandey. Uh, in continuance of our previous uploaded synaptic videos or the explainers, which are actually artificial intelligence created, we are now also continuing our human intervented trainings and workshops. There are 15 modules. The introduction module, module 1, has already been uploaded, and there are some interactive sessions already uploaded. But this is extension to that specific module where we are going to discuss about industry-wise AI MS systems and their uh, audit requirements, or why they are in requirement of any risk assessment from the purview of ISO IEC 42001. We understand that artificial intelligence is not just a future concept anymore. It is actively making hiring decisions. It is approving credits. It is diagnosing healthcare needs and profiling customers right now. So it is working on banking organizations, HR systems, retail banking, or the corporate banking systems, even the medical industries. But what are the rightful use cases when it comes about responsibility of an organization? And as soon as artificial intelligence is giving you immense power by generative AI or large language models or algorithms, there comes a massive responsibility towards the users, stakeholders, internal or external as well. So organization can no longer use AI effectively if they are not using it ethically, transparently, and safely. It was a standard released in December 2023, first international standard which entirely covers artificial intelligence management system, and this has been developed by global technical experts with a comprehensive framework for uh, all kind of organization, all size of organizations, to develop, deploy, and govern AI responsibly. So, as this is module 1, we are going to talk about the industrial use cases, why ISO IEC is required, what are the acts which are responsible, where you need to think about the penalties or any kind of regulatory impact on you. There is Colorado AI Act, which give you fines up to $20,000 per violation of AI uses. At the same time, Article 17 of European AI Act is already there, which talks about establishing a rigorous quality management system, which is a QMS actually. So the data pipelines or the data which you are going to feed to artificial intelligence needs to be maintained with quality systems. So the ISO 42001 itself, it is not a law, but actually it will serve as an ultimate structural backbone. Implementing it early will give any organization a massive head start on achieving regulatory compliance before any enforcement deadline hits. At the same time, we need to discuss and brainstorm about, unlike traditional technical certification that focuses solely on building models, ISO 42001 looks at the entire AI lifecycle. It is built on the universality uh, of plan, do, check, act cycle, which is actually coming from ISO 27001. And this demands a holistic approach to AI governance as well. Uh, if you talk about clause wise flow, clause 4 to 10 are about context and leadership. Uh, AI use cases needs to be contextualized with your organizational working style, and you need to analyze accountability, internal stakeholders and external stakeholder. Let me tell you again about contextuality, what your organization does, internal functions, external function, who are the ultimate beneficiaries. Is it a medical organization? The context will be different. Is it a retail organization? The context will be different. And if it is a banking organization or financial service provider company, the context will be different. So when you deploy artificial intelligence, create the context first. Align yourself, contextualize yourself for what you are trying to deploy artificial intelligence. Then planning and risk management, that is actually clause 6 of ISO 42001. You need to identify risk which are related to artificial intelligence management system, identifying biases, evaluating impacts, and establishing robust mitigation strategies before artificial intelligence or the application platform or the software ever reaches a last mile user. Then support and operations, which is actually clause 7 and clause 8, ensuring team is competent enough to operate on artificial intelligence. Define strict lifecycle controls, security controls, properly documenting every automation decisions which is going to be taken by the artificial intelligence tool. And then evaluation and improvement, clause 9 and 10. So this is like continually auditing performance and refining controls to respond effectively to system failures. But obvious system will fail. And we will also talk about OWASP top 10. And I will try to give you some knowledge base and reference links to see how prompt injection work under OWASP discovery criteria. That is also a worthy thing to see. So we already have discussed that there can be some clauses, there is an AI management system, there is a CI/CD pipeline which needs to be maintained with quality elements so that garbage in and garbage out is not happening. Okay, so final takeaway for this specific use case discussion that we are going to do is we need to create a trustworthy artificial intelligence tool. We need to give it a qualitative data with better algorithm which is trustworthy and not creating any bias. I will give you examples about those in a minute. Okay, so you already have seen the first introductory video where we already have covered what is artificial intelligence management system. Any system which is used for artificial intelligence based generations or decision making, where you need to see algorithmic biases. Examples are, can caste or creed affect hiring process? Yes, in government that can affect, but in enterprises, global inclusion criteria is there, so you cannot do that. An AI system cannot just reject you because you are a general person having a 95% score and you are not coming from a reserved category. Just a pun. There can be profiling also happening on lending and some other scenarios, like let's say your credit card score is being calculated by artificial intelligence and your loan has been rejected basis some algorithmic logic which was actually biased toward you. Individuality has been affected. AI cannot do black box decisions. Black box decisions are, you don't know what is running behind. You don't know what calculation have been used. And there is a word for this, explainability and observability. Whenever AI management system is deployed, a documentation on explainable criterias, algorithmic calculations, or a decision criteria needs to be developed. And there can be security vulnerabilities. As I already have told you, OWASP top 10 on AI is already available, which we will cover in our upcoming sessions. And there can be attacks on AI, there can be data poisoning, there can be prompt injection. There are so many scenarios which we are not going to cover today in this session because this is a supplementary session of module 1. Then, but obvious, as we discussed, that there are global AI regulations already enacting, like GDPR, European AI Act, and Colorado Act, and every country will come up with their own tailored act for these kind of things. Okay, so we discussed ISO 27001 has contextualization of the organization, information security criteria, and a plan, do, check, act methodology, which we need to follow. It is a risk-focused system. You need to emphasize risk assessment and mitigation. It has an ethical foundation, Transparency needs to be there. Black box decision need not to be taken. Fairness needs to be there. Bias needs to be mitigated. And accountability needs to be assigned to the person. It has compatibility with ISO 9001, 27001, and ISO 42001. Okay. Then any kind of organization can use ISO 42001 for their audits. Every kind of industry, healthcare, finance and manufacturing, retail and transport, any kind of SMEs to multinational, all sizes organization, ISO 42001 can be applicable. It covers the governance. What are the roles and responsibility of the people who are working on AI? What policies need to be developed? Which kind of safety protocol needs to be developed? Which kind of impact assessment needs to be performed from the lenses of risk management? And you need to analyze and assess artificial intelligence specific risk, deepfake, abuse, profiling based bias. And then you need to do life cycle management, which is actually designing an artificial intelligence management system, training it, optimizing it, using it, and then decommissioning it and rerunning the new cycle. And every time try to achieve the scalability or improvement. Every new model needs to be improved from the older model in your enterprise. As I am a data management professional right now and I'm looking after data uses in a big banking organization, data quality we are going to talk about, data privacy we are going to talk about, and we are going to talk about provenances. Provenance is actually the custody, the log files, every audit on from where the data has started, ingested, or generated by algorithm. There needs to be a log file created, which can be used if there is third-party auditor asking for any evidence on how a decision was taken. Transparency, explainability that I told you, which statistical model, which kind of calculation, which kind of algorithm was used when AI system has generated something or has taken any decision. And then continual improvement, plan, do, check, act. This is a cycle of ISO 27001. What is not covered? We are not talking about technical implementation of large language models. We are not going to talk about any algorithm or industry specific regulations. We already know the history and evolution of this ISO 42001, but we can talk about how it can help. You have deployed an artificial intelligence management system. You need to improve your customer trust. How? You are not giving bad decisions. You need to showcase the investors that AI is working very fine. You need to safeguard yourself from legal and litigation risk. What if your organization is using a bad artificial intelligence model, or you are using some bad data quality elements to train your LLM model and it has given a bad result, which has affected the whole organization financially? It will improve. ISO 42001 will improve operational efficiency and improve the stakeholder trust if you are doing it as per the framework definition. The structure, as we discussed in the first section, there are clauses which talk about AI management system. The high level structure looks like the scope, the normatives, references and terms, or the definition. What is AI system? Every organization will have different contextual AI system. Which kind of machine learning is used? Which kind of decisions will be taken? Which kind of algorithm will be there? You need to create a scope documentation. Context of the organization needs to be developed. We are a retail organization working on sales of retail electronic items, let's say, where we can also be required to sell some high value iPhones, what risk AI can generate in this specific cycle. So you will talk about SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. You will do any pest analysis, political, economical analysis, statistical analysis, technological analysis, and you will assess who are your internal stakeholders, who are your external stakeholders, what issues AI can create for your specific business context. Clause 5 will cover leadership. Clause 6 will cover planning, which will talk about artificial intelligence impact assessment, objectives, which kind of support is there, which kind of capable employee, operational employee, competency the organization is having, whether you have the documentation available with you or not. Operational planning has been done for artificial intelligence deployment or not. Performance evaluation has been done or not, and which kind of improvement are required when AI system is leaking somewhere. So there are two annexure A, which talk about reference control and objectives. At the same time, there is annexure B, which talks about guidance on AI management. That is actually ISO 23894 mapping. We will discuss it in our upcoming modules. Okay, so I hope you have seen the first introductory presentation, which is not this video. So try to see the first introduction. Key takeaways will be very clear here, because we are going to talk about so many use cases which are coming from specifically healthcare industries, which are coming from finance industry. We are going to take some automotive examples also. So key takeaways we will take after covering our use cases. Okay. So let's say you have developed something which is actually artificial intelligence based decision support system for clinical decisions. So we are now taking the example of medical industry. So there are, let's say there are so many clinics of one company which is using artificial intelligence to provide healthcare advisory or taking decisions on critical cases. Okay. So the requirements for any medical industry will be perform AI impact assessment. The risk needs to be general medicine, critical medicine, or any specific surgery related risk. In that case, when you are using robotics for heart operation. So you need to assess that whether AI system is giving you proper results on medicines, on prescriptions, on rules of taking those medicines, or working on any sickness. What false negative and false positives you are getting. Bad recommendation, good recommendation. Clause 8.4 talks about operational control. Whenever AI is taking some decision, you need to involve one human who is an expert to review that recommendation, whether this is a good recommendation or this can be a critical recommendation. This can be a high risk prediction. Then awareness. Every clinician who is working with your hospital clinic needs to be aware about AI uses, AI limitation, and what kind of bad decisions AI can take. Then annexure A will be talking about controls which are relevant or related to artificial intelligence management system. And the biggest thing is data provenance. So what is data provenance? It is actually annexure A 6.2 and 7.5, where data provenance is maintaining some tamper evident complete lineage of the origin, processing, and output history. Which kind of training has been given to the large language model? Which kind of data validation has been performed? What was the origin of the data? Which kind of lineages were there? Whether the data was cleansed, transformed, sampled or not? Whether you have licensing rights for using that data or not? And whether you have auditable traceability to showcase transparency of your AI management system, human in loop or not. Then logs of clinical override. Clinical override, let's say AI management system of your clinic has given you some predictions which were wrong. It was giving a high dose of some medicine, and the doctor overrided that clinician uh, or that clinical prediction that no, this is wrong, this cannot be the medicine, we need to override it, we need not to follow AI instruction, that log need to be maintained, that these many time the recommendation of AI was negative. Bias analysis across demographic. Now this is very critical. Let's say your model has been trained in USA. So your model has been trained in USA, so it has a tendency of understanding white skin. But it cannot understand the black skin of India, brown skin of India. And that will create a demographic bias. Cause we call that imbalanced training data. Imbalanced training data is like it will misdiagnose cause it has been trained on white skin, and white skin has different clinician description or prescription provided rather than brown skin. Then algorithmic encoding can also be wrong, because if the demography was China and the model was trained in China, and now you are deploying the same model in India, so there can be change of water, change of sun exposure, change of eating behavior, which can actually affect the prediction. To safeguard your organization against all these risks, you need to deploy ISO IEC 42001. Okay, taking second example, financial services credit scoring app. So in India, there are two apps. One is from China, which can give anyone a loan. And you will take a loan of 5,000 rupees, and then they will take away 50,000 rupees from you. And you will get exploitation calls also. But that is not AI. Let us discuss about AI. Your civil score is 650 or 700. The algorithm of the AI has been defined in a way that any person who is not having a score above 750 will not get a loan, car loan, home loan, whatsoever. You have been denied. But here comes the catch. You are just a student and you wanted a loan for education. So there is a bias. AI could not understand the contextuality or the individuality of the person asking for loan. Then stock market, trade market. Then there is corporate banking, retail banking. In every place, whenever you are deploying these kind of decision making elements using artificial intelligence or machine learning, automated loan approval will require explainability on decision taken. And you need to work on litigation also. And that's where you require appeal process documentation. What if some wrong decision has been taken? Human in loop was not able to understand the scenario and someone has logged a case against you. By implementing ISO 42001, you will be able to understand the risk of these kind of decisions, and the business benefit will be that you will be fair towards banking services you are going to provide to your customers, and you will gain customer trust. Then there are some examples of manufacturing as well as public sector. Uh, Public sector, I have a best example that I can share in a link. Let's say someone is scraping government data from government sources. Every state's data has been scraped, and there was a centralized web page created on showcasing government's efficiency or effectiveness onto law and order. What if government starts using the same scrapped data, which was not analyzed for data quality, and takes decision using artificial intelligence? There will be high level of harm, denial of services, uh, and there can be impact on the external stakeholder, which is actually the citizens, and that can affect the public trust. I will showcase you some uh, examples in our upcoming modules for this. And at the end, we have categorized that which kind of use cases are requiring which kind of clause in priority when you are performing uh, AI MS assessment or audits using ISO 42001. So, in a healthcare company, patient can be harmed and false diagnosis can happen. There is a risk. In a finance company, banking company, discrimination may happen with the customer, and there can be regulatory fines from RBI in India. In manufacturing, safety incident can happen. The example is Mahindra's B9 or any electronic car which is taking artificial intelligence decisions, or machine learning like Tesla, no driver car. In retail organization, we look after the privacy intent, whether the privacy has been impacted or not, whether the privacy has been breached or not, whether the manipulation has been happened or not, using any person's personal identifiable information. In public sector, let me give you an example. There is a AI management system in government which is giving you your citizenship certification. What do you call that? Domicile certificate. What if the AI system failed to recognize you as a resident of any XYZ state? There can be a legal challenge. In transportation, what if metro is running using machine learning? What are risks related to accidents, collision? What are the security risks or ethical risks? So, we have discussed today about ISO 42001. We have discussed about the clauses which are very required, which are useful, and how to use these clauses and how to run a PDCA cycle to maintain a better, efficient, and effective uh, artificial intelligence management system. At the end, whether you are looking to become a certified lead implementator, an independent lead auditor, or simply trying to shield your business from legal liabilities, ISO 42001 is your roadmap to building trustworthy artificial intelligence. It bridges the gap between fast paced tech innovation and sustained accountable trust. My humble request to you will be that the new modules will also be uploaded. Try to watch them and try to go to the website uh, as displayed here, www.technoscope.co.in, where you will get all the 15 modules under one uh, web page, and you can learn by yourself. Great, thanks.